You don't listen, do you? I don't think you ever really hear me. You just ask the same questions every week, but you don't listen anyway. And people are starting to notice.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and they're doing it again. They're trying to Joker memory hole a new film because, at least in my opinion, the main actress, Elizabeth Moss, hasn't taken every possible opportunity to talk about how everything is feminist and political. If you don't know who Elizabeth Moss is, she is a Golden Globe and Emmy award-winning actress for her show she stars on called The Handmaid's Tale. An excellent show, in my opinion. I think it's on Hulu. I love the first 2 seasons. Riveting stuff, just awesome, like dystopian future kind of thing. Also, actress from Mad Men, so she's made a lot of great decisions about the type of shows that she's been on, and now she's in a movie that I had planned on seeing anyway, because my wife and I are both fans of the original story and just about any horror movie or scary movie. We'll go see just about any scary movie. And we see a lot of bad ones. And maybe this one is bad. I don't know. As it stands right now, the audience and the critics both agree that it's very good. 91% from critics, certified fresh, and 89% from the audience. Now, we'll wait to see how it all shakes out, but I'll go see it on Saturday and let you guys know via Twitter what I thought of it. A lot of people always say, "Oh, do movie reviews." I don't think my opinion is valid enough to do movie reviews. I just like what I like, and I have my own reasons for it. And the idea here, now, if we go back, The Handmaid's Tale, this is back from 2017. The Handmaid's Tale is absolutely feminist, even if Elizabeth Moss doesn't think so. So we know where this goes. Now, I don't know her, if she's got other statements out there that might be more like on the Brie Larson line or not. But she clearly didn't take the bait then, answering. When asked whether she believed Handmaid's Tale was a feminist work, Moss replied, "I really echo what castmate Madeline Brewer said. Honestly, that for me, it's not a feminist story. It's a human story because women's rights are human rights." She continued to explain this by attempting to illustrate how she approached playing their character Offred. She told the audience, "I never intended to play Offred as a feminist. They're women and they're humans. Offred's a wife, a mother, a best friend. She has a job, and she's a person who's not supposed to be a hero. And then she falls into it and kind of does what she has to do to survive, to find her daughter." That's a big plot line of this. Watch the show if you haven't seen it. I never approach anything with any sort of political agenda. I approach it from a very human place. This is why I've always supported this actress. Maybe she's changed since then, but the television shows, Mad Men, The Handmaid's Tale, and now The Invisible Man are all excellent works that I want to support. If you look at the trailer, 42,000 upvotes, 2.2 thousand downvotes, but you're already starting to get some interesting hot takes. How The Invisible Man shows the horror of not believing women in the Me Too era, from BuzzFeed News. And then we've got The Invisible Man is already more toxic than Todd Phillips' Joker. Why? Are you trying to scare people out of seeing this movie? As emotionally, Ronaldo, probably a dude, I don't know for sure anymore these days, as emotionally riveting as it is, Todd Phillips' Joker has garnered some backlash for its controversial plot about a failed comedian, Arthur Fleck, Joaquin Phoenix turning, we all know. However, while the pitchforks came out for that movie, even before it premiered, one upcoming film's already proving to be more toxic and more dangerous. It's the first trailer if the first trailer is any indication, Universal's The Invisible Man reboot. Now, this actually was written back in November. Never even noticed it. Never noticed it. Just saw the trailer, was like, oh, okay, interesting. The film revolves around Elizabeth Moss's Cecilia Cass, as she haunted by the ghost of her past ex, Adrian. The first trailer reveals that he is a very terrible man. He ends up allegedly self-deleting as she tried to flee what was a terrible relationship. He ends up leaving her $5 million and then says, basically, you can keep this money as long as you're not insane. I don't want to give away too much about the movie, but then the premise is he is then the Invisible Man, torturing her and ultimately leading to her getting in, put in the system. And it's all part of his evil plan. He's an evil man. He's supposed to be an evil man, right? He, as far as I can tell, was never supposed to be like an anti-hero. He's never supposed to be a guy that just, you know, had too much and eventually broke. He was just always a bad character. Now, the one conditioner is he stipulates is that she can't be deemed unstable. Turns out to be part of his game as he figures out a way to become invisible and repeatedly goes after her to erode her sanity. That's pretty messed up. Not to mention misogynistic for a couple of reasons. It's a horror movie. Was Jason misogynistic? How about Freddy Krueger? How about Michael Myers? These are all men who do evil things because they are evil people. Are we going to attach misogyny to that too? This is a movie about controlling women and gaslighting her to the point of where she thinks she's insane. No, it isn't. It's about her struggle to overcome that and ultimately succeeding at it. It's very tone deaf given the male-dominated and at times chauvinistic society we live in, where some men do seem to think they have ownership over women's bodies. Bro, I hope she sees this. Seriously, whoever she is, I hope she sees this. So why should a man like Adrian own Cecilia's mind? It's another distasteful plot of a man wanting to have power over an innocent woman. Faking self-deletion to create a situation where everyone starts viewing the female protagonist as insane is a pretty extreme direction for the studio to take with the movie. What? What? You know how many tickets you're selling right now? You know how many people are going to go see this movie now because think pieces, absolute smooth brain think pieces like this exist? Not to mention Cecilia having to fight being deemed crazy by the authorities in order to pocket the inheritance means she's basically selling her mind and the safety for the sake of a bank account. Okay, so she made a bad decision then. Are you saying that she's superficial? Do you think that, are you saying that she's money motivated? Ooh, not very feminist of you, Ronaldo. That's a very toxic spin. And it's anti-feminist because men shouldn't be looking at women like possess. Did a 5-year-old write this? This is written by like a 5-year-old. I can barely get through it. Let's up to obviously written by a much better writer, Christy Lee Inaldi of BuzzFeed. Director and screenwriter Lee Wannell didn't set out to make his movie about the dangers of men gaslighting women and the true horror of people not believing victims when they talk about things. But when he started to work on the script for the latest iteration of The Invisible Man, a remake of the classic sci-fi novel by H.G. Wells that has been adapted to television and film numerous times, these timely themes came up organically and ultimately shaped the entire plot of the film, which stars Elizabeth Moss as Cecilia and Oliver Jackson Cohen as her husband, Adrian Griffin, aka The Invisible Man. Quote, I didn't go into this film thinking about how do I wrap this iconic character around a story about gaslighting. Interesting. So you're saying that this is just also enticing me even more. This is enticing me even more to see the film. When the writer behind it isn't like, no, I didn't have a political agenda going into it. It was during the first draft that I felt the movie drifting in this direction of gaslighting and domestic and women not being believed or feeling like there's an unseen threat. It felt like it really fit his character naturally. Oh my God, Lord, praise.
Said, are you ready? Clap your hands and come on, praise the Lord. Come on, praise Him. Come on, praise the Lord. Come on, praise Him. He deserves the praise. Come on, praise the Lord. Come on, praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
See, the thing is, speaking of gaslighting, a lot of people will say if you push back against this inorganic push for these type of things, that you're like by default against it. By default against you know, believing women, which of course nobody is. It's just I'm against the concept of believing them because of their femininity, that they should be automatically trusted. We already know that there's numerous cases where this has just been led down a terrible road. Just ask Chris Hardwick about that, or just ask the guy from Honest Movie Trailers. Why can't I think of his name right now? There's an unending list of men who's had their careers. Johnny Depp, you know, you could ask him about that. So, you know, there's a lot of situations around where you just believe facts, not people. The first draft. So at the time when movements like the Me Too have led to toxic men being held accountable more than ever, by the way, they haven't been. One, I think, has been. In fact, you've had more bad targets, and I'm not going to read it anymore because I don't want to spoil the movie at all. You know, more false bad targets have been hit than actual good ones. You could say Harvey, obviously, is where he deserves to be based on the evidence, but there are far more people who have had their careers ruined by these morons who think, oh, just believe people because, you know, because of what gender they are, which is absurd. Elizabeth Moss gives it her all, but This Invisible Man isn't a must-see. Bad movies are a thing, but one more potent disappointment reserved for ones that could have been contenders. The Invisible Man squanders a juicy, topical premise. This version of H.G. Wells is a classic fueled by toxic masculinity, the idea of combining creature-feature invisibility with domestic bad behavior and gaslighting. So they're sad that they're not out on the press junket pushing politics. Look, I'm going to see this movie because, like I said, I see bad movies all the time. Maybe it's bad. You know, as it sits right now, you know, generally when the critics and the audience agree, that's rare. Granted, there's only 276 verified ratings. If I look at all audience, it's on 612 and still at an 89. With 166 fresh ratings out of 182 with just 16 rotten, you would argue that this movie looks very good. It sounds like maybe some critics are a little salty that Elizabeth Moss doesn't play by their tune, doesn't push their agendas for them. I mean, that certainly seems like what they might be pushing here. And they're trying to use Joker to smear it. I mean, how'd that work for you? How'd that work for you? $1 billion without China? How'd that work for you? Let's see how it works for Invisible Man, because I'll be seeing it on Saturday, and I'll let you know how it turned out. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.